Oh, we'll introduce ourselves again. Don't worry, it was including congestion.
What?
It's not a dry cough.
Oh.
I feel like every time I cough, I'm like, was there congestion?
Ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right.
Let's go. Atlanta. I am Jordan Tupta, the blogger behind. No. Hi guys, I am Jordan Tupta, the blogger behind JordanJean.com.
And I'm Steven Tupta, the husband.
We are sharing budget videos and how we started attacking our debt, why we don't believe in debt, things like that. If you haven't seen the first video, we definitely suggest going back and watching that one before you watch this one, because we're going to be going into the nitty-gritty details about budgeting and how we budget, how we use an app to budget.
Yeah, so this video is all about budgeting, how to do it, why to do it.
So to recap why a budget is important, it helps you track your money to ensure that you don't spend more than you make, because if you do spend more than you make, then that equals debt. It helps you see where you're actually spending your money, and by doing that, you can see which areas you can improve upon. Every dollar has a designated spot, so it actually creates freedom, so you can spend your money however you want it, assuming that you're paying for your needs first. But it actually provides a way for you to set aside money within your budget to spend it where you want it, which is just really freeing. And then it also helps you pay off debt faster and helps you reach your financial goals faster. Steven's gonna go into how we set up a budget, the basics of it, and then we'll go into the really nitty-gritty details and show you in the app that we use an example of how to do a budget.
So I'll start off telling you just about kind of in general how to set up a budget, and then we'll do kind of a mock example using real numbers and stuff. With your actual budget, what you need to start off with is all the money that you make, so your total household income. If you're married, that's both spouses' incomes and anyone else in the household who might be making money. You start with all that. You're essentially putting all that money into a big pile, big jar, and then starting from that. So after you have all the income, you're going to write down all of your needs, all the things that are necessary in order to survive. So we're thinking just like your shelter, food, required payments by law, stuff like that. Clothes, we're assuming that you guys already have enough clothes, so clothes are actually going to be going down in the wants category. All right, so starting off with your needs, basic necessities. The first thing, shelter, we're thinking about your mortgage or your rent payment, depending if you own a house or if you're renting. For a general rule of thumb for budgeting, this payment should not be more than 1/4 of your total take-home pay. So if you have it significantly more than a quarter, then you should consider selling your house or relocating to somewhere else, renting somewhere else. Then after you have your mortgage and rent down, thinking about all of your utility bills, gas, water, phone, internet, stuff like that. Then after that, we're going to be talking about the food. So your groceries and kind of your common household consumables, things that you're going to be buying every month, reusing, like things like toilet paper, toothpaste, different things like that.
Anything you run out of.
Yep. And then after that comes the tithe, if you believe in doing that, your basic giving money. Then finally after the tithe, we're thinking kind of your required payments by law, if you have to pay health insurance, things like that. If you're self-employed, and then saving money, putting that aside for paying taxes for later in the year. All right, so after we have all that taken care of, the next thing that's going to be required in our daily lives is transportation. So for that, we're thinking gas money, car insurance, regular car maintenance. If you have a car loan, you don't own your car outright, then car loan's going to go in the debt category, which is actually later on down the line, and Jordan's going to be talking about that.
Yep. At this point, we have our necessities listed. Everything that you need to survive. From this point on, it's going to depend on which baby step you are in. Now that you have all of your basic necessities accounted for in your budget, now you're able to proceed depending on which baby step you're in. So for example, if you're in baby step number 1, you're going to use the extra money that you have left in your budget to put that money towards your $1,000 emergency fund. If you're in baby step number 2 and you already have that $1,000 saved up, then you're going to start chipping away at your debt snowball after you've attacked your minimum payments on your debt. Again, the debt snowball is the smallest debt that you have to the largest one. So you're just gonna start chipping away at that smallest one with that leftover money that you have in your budget. When you get to baby step number 3, you can start to be a little bit more lenient, we think, with the budget. You don't have to be so gazelle intense because, I mean, you want to have a little bit of fun with life.
Yeah.
You want to be able to spend your money where you want it.
Have a little bit of money to put on extra things.
Right. Which brings us to extra spending and how all of that ties into everything after your budget, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so after you've been going gazelle intense, paying off your debt, and you've paid it all off, you can let your foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and you can start to spend a little bit more on things that you want to, whether that's like a gym membership, going out to eat a little bit more, go to a concert, stuff like that. So you can start to budget that more in to your budget, spending more on that, but still you want to be saving up for your 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund, and then after that's taken care of, then you want to be going into baby step number 4 and be saving 15% of your income towards retirement. Once you have that taken care of, then baby steps 5 and 6, you're putting all your extra money into saving for a kid's college, and then you can still continue to put more towards that extra spending, continue to have fun, spend a little bit more kind of in that category, and then whatever's left over at the end of the month, then you're just putting that towards your mortgage to hopefully get that paid off sooner.
Right. The extra spending part though is really crucial because we know that, I mean, for us it was easy to get off track just from that extra spending, and people, I mean, obviously you want to have fun with the life that you're living.
Right.
And so I think that's where a lot of people get hung up, and the lower you are in your baby steps, the more intense you're going to have to be about limiting that number in your extra spending. Yeah. So as you get higher up, then you can be a little bit more lenient and, you know, spend more on whatever it is that you want. So that's kind of a rundown of a basic budget and how we would go about setting one up. But now we're going to go into the details on how to set one up in the app that we use. The app that we use to budget is called Every Dollar. It's an app provided by the Dave Ramsey team. There's a paid version and a free version. We use the free version in particular because, one, we don't want to pay for the version that you have to pay for, and then 2, we don't enjoy it, but we prefer to have the method of inputting our purchases, excuse me, so that there's kind of that reaction in the brain going on that's similar to when you pay for items with cash. So we have to go in and be like, I spent $30 on a shirt or whatever it is, and it just creates a reaction in your brain that's like, maybe I won't do that again. So that's why we use the free version of Every Dollar. And now we're going to go into setting up a hypothetical budget in Every Dollar and how we would go about doing that.
Yeah, so for our mock budget that we're going to set up and show you guys, we're going to be assuming that for a total household income that you're taking in $6,000 before taxes are taken out. And then to keep things simple, we're just going to assume that they take $1,000 out for taxes, and so you're left with a household take-home pay of $5,000 a month.
That could also include taking out health insurance and whatever is automatically removed from your income.
But not retirement stuff.
Correct.
All right, so starting off, like we talked about before, with your shelter, we're going to assume in our budget that your mortgage or your rent, in this case, costs $1,250 a month. So just go ahead, make a category for your mortgage or your rent, and input $1,250. We'll assume in this case that that's including all your property tax, insurance, homeowners insurance, and all of that. All right, after that, we have the tithe. Now for the tithe, we're doing 10% of our income before taxes. So like we said, $6,000 a month before taxes. So for our tithe, we're going to put in $600 a month for that. Now after that, it's time to put in all of our different utility costs. We have, for us, we have our own separate water bill, and then our electric and gas is combined. And then if you have to do garbage collection fees, HOA dues, go ahead and put that in, as well as your phone and internet. So for things like water and your electricity, those are going to change a little bit every month, but after you start keeping track and budgeting, after about 3 or 4 months, you should have a good idea of roughly how much you're spending for these utilities. We're going to go ahead and go conservative with water, and we're going to budget $70 for the month. And then for electric and gas, we're just going to go ahead and put in $100 for garbage or HOA fees, $30, and then our phone bill, $90 a month, and a $40 a month internet bill. Whenever you actually get your statement for the utilities and you figure out how much the exact amount is, that's the time to go ahead and input it into the app. And then if it's less than what you had planned, then you have a little bit extra saved. But if it's more than what you had planned or budgeted, then hopefully you have some money somewhere else that you can pull from in order to cover that expense.
Right.
All right, and next for our grocery bills. So this is going to include all of the food that you're buying for your household, as well as those household consumables, things that you're going to be reusing every month. And a good rule of thumb that we have heard about is using $100 per person in your household and then adding an extra $100 onto that. So for example, with just Jordan and I having 2 people in the household, we would multiply 2 times 100, so having $200 and then adding an additional $100 onto that. So our total budget for groceries for the month would be $300. It can fluctuate a little bit from that. Sometimes if you have to buy kind of bigger purchase items, like for us, if we have to buy our flea and tick medicine for our dogs, we'll sometimes put that under our grocery budget, and then that's going to be a little bit more for the month. All right, and then after all of your groceries are budgeted in, then it's time to put down things like health insurance, if you have to pay for that out of pocket, or any other things that you're required to pay. All right, next, getting into the transportation category, we have our gas allotment for the month. So driving around, again with the utilities, after you do this for about 3 or 4 months, you're going to have a good idea of how much you're spending on gas to fill up your car. So for this month, we're going to budget in for $100. Next, car insurance. Whether you pay monthly to your car insurance company, or whether you pay once a year or twice a year, you're going to budget in how much that monthly amount is, or if you're only paying once a year, then you're going to be essentially saving this much every month, putting it in a savings account, and then when it does come time to actually pay that out to the car insurance company, then you're just going to take the money from your savings account and then transfer it to the company to pay for it. All right, then afterward, for transportation costs, you also have regular car maintenance. One way that you can budget this is to just take $20 or $30 every month and essentially put that into a savings account, and then whenever it comes time to get an oil change, to get your tires rotated, different things that you're going to have to plan for with your maintenance, then go ahead and just, you already have it saved up, so just go ahead and spend it. Or if you know that this is the month that you're going to have an oil change, then figuring out how much that's going to cost for you, and then setting aside that amount specifically for just the 1 month that you're going to be getting that oil change.
That would be the same thing as well for something like tires that
Yeah.
you know ahead of time you're going to kind of start needing to save up for.
All right, so at this point in our budget, we have spent a total of $2,760, which leaves us with $2,240 remaining that we have to spend. And then this $2,240, that's going to be put into a lot of different ways depending on which baby step that you're in.
Mm-hmm. So if you're in baby step 1, you're just starting the baby steps, you're going to use $1,000 out of that $2,240 that you have remaining and put it into your emergency savings account. And then congratulations, you're on step 2, baby step number 2. So at that point, we have $1,240 remaining. At that point, you can start attacking your debt snowball because you're in baby step number 2. So you can put your required payments, we're just gonna say $600 in this case, and put that money towards the minimum required payments for your debt. And then you can start attacking your debt snowball. So you're gonna have $1,540 left. So you're gonna put that money towards your debt snowball. And again, because we believe in having extra spending, even if you are in debt or baby step number 2, you're gonna be able to have a little bit of extra spending just so that you can get things like clothes and go to a restaurant if you want to, spend a couple bucks at Chick-fil-A or whatever it is. So we're just going to set aside $100 for miscellaneous charges that come up. For example, another one, a good one is like haircut.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can budget stuff like that in.
Right. So
you get a haircut. If you have to buy stamps,
yeah,
send out some mail.
Yeah.
Things like that.
We're gonna set $100 aside in baby step number 2 for extra spending.
It's important to keep that extra spending, especially if you're in baby step 2, to only $100, maybe up to $200, depending on how much you have.
Yeah. Again, this is where people can.
It should not be more than $200.
Yeah. This is where people can get off track.
Yeah.
Quickly, very quickly. Baby step number 3, again, is when you're going to be saving up that 3 to 6 months of living expenses. We're going to say that we've completed baby step number 2, and now we're on to baby step number 3. So we're going to put $2,000 towards that 3 to 6 months of savings. And at that point, you can be a little bit more lenient on the extra spending. So we're going to put $240 into that extra spending category. And you can divide this up if you want to. For us, we like to divide it up a little bit more so that we know where our money is going again. But the total is going to be $240.
Yep.
If you're on baby step number 4, you already have that 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up. And so you're going to increase your retirement savings and from your total income. This might be something that automatically occurs with your job. Mm-hmm. So the total income that you have starting at at the top of your every dollar screen, so might look different.
Your total income, so we're assuming in this case, out of that $6,000, you're going to be investing 15% of that, so $900 a month is going to be going towards retirement. Right. And that's going to be split up, whether it's taken out in a 401k from your employer, whether you're putting, say, $500 a month into an IRA account, so that you can get $6,000 for the year, do $500 a month. It's pretty easy doing it that way. You can split it up also, so that you're equaling that 15%.
Mm-hmm. So we went through and showed at the beginning all the basic necessities cost $2,240, and so we'll say that you take 15% out of that $6,000, which is $900. So you're gonna have $1,340 remaining at that point to determine what you want to do with it.
Yep.
At that point, you can start going into baby step 5 and 6, which is to save for your child's college and to put more money towards your mortgage to get that paid off faster. And so again, you have $1,340 at this point remaining in the budget. Kind of start to really separate this at this point.
Yeah.
For us. You want to go into that?
Yeah, this is the point where things are really going to start changing per month, depending on kind of what you prioritize and where you want to be putting your money. So out of that $1,340, let's say that you're going to be putting aside $500 a month for additional savings. This could be putting money aside for any future big item purchases. So if you're on baby step number 5, then putting up to $500 away for kids' college. If you're going to be buying a new car at some point, then some of this savings is going to be going towards buying a new car. If you want to be saving up for a down payment on a house, then again, some of the savings could be going to that. If you want to do a house remodel, anything like that. All right, so now for this point, for the extra spending category, we're going to put aside at this time $700 a month. Again, we're letting our foot off the pedal. We're starting to enjoy some of that money a little bit more, putting it to things like gym memberships, some house decorations, and just more enjoyable things.
This number can change depending on how intense you are about your goals. So if you really want to get your house paid off quickly, then you can make this number smaller and just put that money towards your mortgage.
Exactly. Yeah, this could range anywhere from $0 if you don't want to do anything fun for the month, or you could be spending all of your money remaining for the month in this extra category. We
still suggest having somewhat of a lockdown on this, though.
Yeah.
You have to kind of have a balance of not being like too intense if you don't want to be. I mean, you can be if you want, but I just think it's a balance.
Yeah. It is.
It is.
All right, so after you have your extra spending down, then at this point you're just looking to see how much money you have left over at the end of the month, and then whatever you do have left over, in our case it's $140, we're just going to put that into paying extra on our mortgage principal to be chipping away more at the house and have that paid off sooner than what we had planned for.
Yeah.
If you already have your house paid off, if you're one of the lucky ones on baby step 7, then all the extra money that you have, it's really up to you to decide what you want to do.
Yep.
You can enjoy it, you can invest it and continue to save, and then you can continue to give generously on top of 10% or whatever you give.
You should still use a budget at this point though, no matter what.
Right.
Like from this point on, you're gonna have a budget.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah, I feel like Jordan and I are always going to be using a budget.
Yeah.
No matter what we're doing.
Yeah.
Just
because you
we've
could
gotten so
always
used to
be
it
a
at this
little
point,
better
so,
with your money too.
Yeah.
Even in baby step 7, you could give more in some areas and just
Right.
know where your money's going. So that is how to set up a budget on every dollar. Some questions with logistics.
Yeah, a common question that people ask us is, hey, when am I actually putting in these numbers into the app? And like we talked about on our previous video, your budget meeting is kind of whenever you're deciding what amounts you want to spend for the month. But in terms of actually putting the purchases into every dollar, there's kind of a few different ways that you can go about doing that.
So he's way better at this than I am. Just 100%. I'm going to be completely honest. And if you are a mom with kids, I'm sure that it's going to be tough for you too. I don't even have kids yet here, but at the physical register that you're paying at, you can open up the app, open up the category, and input the purchase that you're about to make as soon as it's made. And between the two of us, Steven is way better at doing this than I am. He's really good about just doing it right then and there. So when he's in the line at the store and the purchase is made and he gets the receipt, he'll just stand right there, and he already has the app open and the category open that he's going to input the purchase into, but he'll just log the number right there, click done, and move on with his day. I am not.
If there's a big line at the register, I usually won't do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold people up behind me.
Yeah. It's the same thing as, like, I don't know if your mom used to do this, but my mom would always have a checkbook, and anytime that she made a purchase in the store, she would stand there like a savage and just be writing in her stuff in her little purchase, but she never missed it. That way when she had to balance her checkbook, it all made sense. And so he's really good about that. But what I typically do is either I will wait until I get into the car to input the purchase into the category, or I try to do it at least once a week, if not that night or that day, because the more diligent you are about doing this, the better it's going to give you a picture of your budget, and you'll be able to really know how much money you have left in each category. So we suggest doing it, if you can, ideally standing right there in the line at the store. Second best.
The sooner the better.
Yeah.
Because you'll forget about it if you don't.
Right. And it's going to take creating that new habit of doing it. And he's also really good about being like, did you log that purchase or whatever? So
usually the answer is no.
I don't like doing it in real time. A lot of the time I just don't even have my phone right there. It's in my purse. So in the car, or seriously try to set a time aside at least once a day or a couple times a week to be inputting everything.
Yeah.
And again, it's really helpful with this if you have your notifications turned on, if you're using your debit card, to notify you when you have a purchase come in, so you can just scroll through your notifications and they're all right there. And that's it. That's another video.
Yeah, that's all about budgeting, how to do it.
Yeah, the next one we're going to be going through common questions that you guys have, and some habits that we follow to stick to our budget, some resources, things like that. So stay tuned for the third video that'll be coming in the next couple of days.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.